Hi, welcome to another in the series of Marketing Monday for mediators and arbitrators. Glad to have you with me. Today, we are going to talk about how to make money from pro bono cases. This is a question that comes up all the time when people call and need help with their practice development. They've just finished a training program, and this is one of the primary questions that I get. And if you followed me for any length of time, you know that I've written articles about this, I talk about this, but today we're going to go right down the list of how to transition your practice from non-paying to paying clients. So welcome everybody. Let's get to work on how to make money from pro bono cases. You know, it's pro bono panels are where a lot of ADR trainers, mediation and arbitration trainers, suggest that all of us go for our first mediations and arbitrations after we get our training or our certificates, right? And they're correct to do that. Mediation in particular is one of those things that is both a skill and an art. And only hands-on experience really helps us to refine the art form of the process that we offer. We need that real-world experience to become the great neutrals that we know that we can be. But unless you're on a panel purely for philanthropic reasons, building a business off of that panel work might not be exactly what you thought it would be. And I get a lot of people who come to me a little bit frustrated that their practice doesn't magically appear after they've donated or volunteered lots and lots of time and effort and energy into pro bono panels. So let's talk about that. First, I think that we need to talk about the idea that the old cliche stands true. We assume that we get what we pay for. As consumers, that's just how our brains work. We assume that we get what we pay for. And so if mediators have an assigned monetary value of nothing, then the assumption is we have very little or maybe even no worth. And that's just wrong. Most consumers of free mediation or arbitration panels know otherwise after they've used our services. But they know and understand the tremendous value that we offer, especially represented clients. So the attorneys that use the pro bono panels, they know for sure that we are worth our weight in gold. They also love the fact that they can get us for free. Do we love that same fact? Well, I would say it's probably a love-hate situation. It's complicated. If we had to list our relationship status on Facebook, we'd say it's complicated. But some of us love it because it is our philanthropic choice. It is our calling to help people, and that's fine, right? Some of us love it though because it's where we are going to hone our skills, right? We generally think that it will help us grow our private practices. Now, depending on which camp you sleep in, if you're in the philanthropic category, then probably the rest of this conversation is not going to be really very interesting to you. But if what you're looking for is to build a practice off of your pro bono work, stick with me. So let me tell you a story. The story of a client. This is a real client. Many, many years ago, 20 some odd years ago, this woman came into my office for a consultation, and we're going to call her Jody. That is not her real name. Jody is the name of my sister, but we're going to call this client Jody. Jody is an experienced attorney in downtown Los Angeles with a practice specialty that easily transfers into the world of ADR. And after she received her certification as a mediator, she received the same advice that most of us do, and that is volunteer at your local court panel. You'll get lots of experience, you'll build your practice, etc. So Jody volunteered a lot. And her trainer was right about the first two things, but not the last one. In my very first consultation with her, I asked her to explain to me some of her volunteer stats. And here they are. Jody heard 5 cases per month for 2 years. That's 120 cases. That's a lot. She provided 3 hours of free mediation for each one of those cases, or 360 hours mediating. Each one of those mediations required 2 hours of admin. That's 240 total hours of admin for these volunteer cases. And she lived in LA, so there was 2 hours of commuting for each one of those free mediations. Now, that volunteer work for those 2 years created a total of 840 hours of volunteer time. In Jody's private practice, she charged $300 an hour. Very reasonable fee. Her quote unquote practice development through pro bono cases cost her $252,000 over those 2 years. Right? My next question to Jody was, that's a really big investment. How many paying cases did you directly receive then for all of your volunteer efforts? And her answer was 5. 5 paid cases. So in my mind, it's not difficult math. It's just not worth it. I mean, the training, yes. Honing your skills, yes. Growing your practice, no way, not worth it. Of course, she did get the necessary experience. She did give back to her community, but that's some really expensive experience and a really big philanthropic effort to make. And I can think of lots of ways for all of us to donate $250,000 to very deserving individuals. The truly painful aspect of all of her efforts on this panel is that she still paid good marketing money to promote her private practice. And that's why she was in my office for this first consultation. She had invested in a website, business cards, obviously, membership dues had been paid. She was writing, speaking, training, talking regularly to her primary target market, doing all the things that she was supposed to be doing. And in those same 2 years of promoting her practice, she spent an additional $11,800 on those more traditional marketing methods. So for that very reasonable investment, she obtained 172 new and fully paying clients. Now that's good math. $11,800 to membership dues, writing, speaking, training, networking, connecting with her primary target market, got her 172 new and fully paying clients, right? So if we did the same cost analysis for your practice, what would it look like? If you were sitting in Jody's chair talking to me during that first consultation, what would your numbers look like? How's that math? The big question, after we figure out what your stats are, what your math is what do we do next? And I'm not suggesting that you forego volunteering on a panel. If that's where your heart is at, absolutely. If those are the skills that you need to obtain, definitely. But let's get real. Volunteer for a predetermined period of time. Get the experience that you need. Make the most of the contacts that you develop from being on that panel, and then move on. And maybe you're not as comfortable as Jody and you don't have $11,800 to invest in your marketing, and you've got no other choice but to parlay those pro bono cases into paying clients. That's all right. Let's talk about that. You might consider keeping a separate calendar that is just for pro bono cases. So paid clients get priority status on your calendar. Pro bono clients may have to wait to have you service their cases. You might set a limit to the number of cases or hours that you volunteer each month. And those pro bono cases, if they really want you, they have to roll over into the next month or the next month or the next month, or they might have to roll over to another mediator's calendar, right? So you need to set some boundaries. You need to set some limits about how many cases and how many hours you're willing to take. And you want to determine maybe in advance how many hours of pro bono cases you need to hear to really elevate your skills, to really get sharp, right? And when you meet that, or when you hit that magical number, whatever it is for you, stop. Step off the panel, spend your valuable time, your money, your efforts, your brain power, all of those things promoting your private practice. And then, there's always the issue of, when I talk to my clients, dealing with sort of the repeat offenders, or the people who regularly abuse the fact that you have pro bono time on your calendar. Let them know that you're sincerely flattered by their confidence in your skills, but you mediate for a living, right? This is how you support yourself. This is your business. You're a professional at this, and that you would really appreciate them hiring you privately in future. If they really want you, they'll pay for you. If they're just one of those, repeat offenders that just use the pro bono panels because they can, because people make themselves available, then you probably don't really want that person as a client. Let them go. So you can always, check the procedures of your local panel, the panel upon which you sit to do volunteer and pro bono work. Make sure that you're not finding yourself in conflict with the panel rules or administrators when you don't accept a pro bono case, or you kick it back to the panel. Read the small print, so that you know how to handle that situation. But that should be on your list of things to consider. One of the things that we need to think about when we're doing these cases, these pro bono cases, is that in order to parlay them, in order to move that non-paying client into a paying client, you need to keep in mind that even though they're not paying you for your services, they are paying attention to the service that they get from you. And every interaction you have with them is essentially selling them on the idea that they can trust you, that they can trust your services, that they can like you, that you're responding in a timely manner, that you're a professional. So you're always, with every interaction, promoting your practice. You're promoting our industry as a whole, but you're really promoting your practice individually. So you want to be sure that you're professional, you're considerate, you're courteous, you're customer oriented, all of those things that we all know that we should be doing. Sort of keep that top of mind. And just because someone isn't paying you for your services doesn't mean they should get a lesser service, right? The onus is on us to always provide the best service that we possibly can. We might think about what it is that our pro bono work can offer that the other neutrals in our area, region, or specialty don't offer. We want to remind them that while we're mediating for them, we want to be sure that they're comfortable, that they're well cared for, that we're doing a good job. Check in with them from time to time. When the court panel or the volunteer panel follows up with that client, they're going to be asking that question. Make sure that they can tick that box in your favor. And keep in mind always that everyone in the room is your client. And I know you've heard these things before, but they bear repeating time after time after time because they are that important. Every person in the room is your client. A lot of these folks that are going to be in your mediations have never been in a mediation before, and they've seen it portrayed probably very poorly in film or on television, and you are the ambassador for our entire industry. So make sure that you keep in mind all of these things. Once the mediation then has completed, maybe it settled, maybe it didn't, you want to be sure that you give your business card to the parties and to their representatives if they're represented, and let them know that you're available for private practice. Right? And then whether the hearing is held in a private office space or a court annex or on Zoom, be sure that you make all of the potential clients as comfortable as is possible. I know it's on repeat, but really the little things matter. So if you're meeting with them in person, make sure that you've got high quality coffees and teas, that you've got dietary snacks that take into consideration any special dietary needs, that you've got Kleenexes, that you've got menus from local restaurants, that you've got clean bathrooms, all of these kinds of things. Little things that pamper your clients and their representatives make a big difference in your ability to to transfer non-paying clients into paying clients. And then, of course, the mediation's finished up, and you want to be sure that you follow up their settlement. We'll assume that you've got it settled. You're going to follow up their settlement with a thank you letter, a really real letter, on paper, blue ink, stamp affixed, a thank you letter. And you want always, if your panel allows, for you to reach out and ask them to participate in a client survey. You want to follow up and ask them all of those questions. Did you find that I was well prepared? Was I on time? Did I answer all of your questions? Did I take all of your needs into consideration? Did I give you enough time? Did I give your clients enough? All of those kinds of questions, right? So provide a survey for them so that you can get that feedback, and then think about changing some of those things that they might comment upon. Of course, then, you want always to follow up with those clients via the traditional marketing tools like networking, sending them an article, inviting them to a speaking event, inviting them to a training event. Essentially, keep in touch with them. Keep yourself and your high quality services top of mind. Really important. So let's go back to Jody. Jody did choose to stay on the court panel, regardless of how much she got for it or how much it cost her. She decided to stay. And her reason was, that's just what neutrals do. That's just what neutrals can choose to do. I would recommend otherwise, though. Listen, you have to choose for yourself. You choose for your practice how much time and energy and effort can go into giving away your good services at no cost. And I would argue that when you hit that magic number of cases heard, experiences had, hours donated, you step away. You can always volunteer with a community mediation center for philanthropic reasons, for people who need access to justice, for people who can't afford private mediation services, people who are at risk. Absolutely, those are fantastic places to donate your skills and your time. But for the clients who could otherwise pay us, they need to pay us. Volunteering, like I said, it can be a great way to gain experience. It lightens the load of your local court docket, helps people who really need help. You meet new potential clients on a regular basis, and you can turn them into paying clients. But don't let volunteering distract you from doing what you need to do, and that is build your practice. Be a business person first. Be a business person who happens to specialize in mediation, but be a smart business person. And for as much time as you network inside all of the legal or trade associations, double that amount of time promoting, marketing, training, being on social media. Keep up with what's happening in the ADR industry, of course, but primarily keep up with what's happening in your target markets industry. Read marketing books, read communication books, read about entrepreneurship, attend those seminars, listen to those podcasts, watch those videos. Be a smart business person. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in this morning. Got several comments already. Thank you for watching live and interacting with me. If you want more video content like this, you can go to my website or YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the comments section. And as always, if you have any questions, any concerns about building your mediation or arbitration practice, contact me and we'll go through it together. We'll find the solution that helps you reach your goals or even surpass them. And if you've got content that you want me to address in an upcoming video, put it in the comments section. I'll get the right research put together and post a video. Thanks very much again for watching. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. Be good humans.